Good evening, everybody. Just like this, it's the start. I'm ready to vote on the approval of the February minutes.
I move that we approve the February minutes as previously sent out. Second.
And all right, I think we want to old business. Anybody like to let's vote on the say aye of the February minutes.
Aye.
All right. Approve minutes as complete. Let's go on to the old business.
The one thing I have under old business is selecting a concrete date. We're narrowing down a date for our recognition ceremony. Last time we met, we had talked about possibly June. I think that's when we did it last year, and April is quickly upon us. Yes. Does anybody have a suggestion for a date, or if anyone wants to look at their calendars for June, so that we can find a time that would work, so we can, or at least maybe a first choice date and a second choice date?
I like the 16th. It's like right.
So that's Friday.
Yeah, it's right before sweats.
Excellent. 16. Anybody on the commission not like the 16th? I know I won't be able to attend that day, but that don't please don't that will take away from scheduling each.
Like what this.
Same thing with me, I have 2 weekends in June though.
I'll be at a wedding. Okay, so not the 16th.
Not the 16th.
Not. No, I mean,
No, yeah, it's just yeah, you know, I'm not like it has to be.
does the 9th work?
I'll be at a wedding.
Can people start getting married, please?
Everybody stop finding love.
So that leaves us with the 2nd and the 23rd. It's their preference. It's just the 2nd of the end of the month, because I would choose graduations and all the other fun stuff. Sure.
Yes.
Is anybody getting married on the 2nd?
Yes. Right.
Not yet.
Okay. Let's do the second. All right. So, I see does everybody move on vote for our recognition ceremony on 2nd of June 2023.
So moved. Second.
Anybody? All in favor for the second?
Aye.
All right. So, I'd like to go back, introductions of folks. If just like introduce themselves to the to everybody.
Sure, we are here from the Albany Community Police Review Board. My name is Nairobi Vivas. I'm the chair of the board. And I'll allow our other members to introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Amelia Harding. I'm the vice chair. Here.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Antoinette Santos and I'm a member of the Thank you.
And just should probably introduce ourselves as well. My name is Thomas Muller. I'm the vice chair of the commission. Met most of them several times.
My name is Aaron Moore. I'm the chair of the commission. Next meeting.
I'm Tom Richards. I'm a member of the commission. I'm the secretary.
Valerie Alexander Mosley. I'm just a commissioner.
Bryce Nobel, assistant operations.
All right. All right. Well, I'd like to move on to, well, before we move on, any other old business items I'd like to bring up? Discuss. All right. Let's go on to new business.
So our water fluoridation presentation had to be canceled. I show we all have a personal matter meeting had to attend to, but once we do have a scheduled date, I'll make sure to blast that out to everyone. In the folders that the commissioners have, there are copies of the bylaws, and then there are 13 letters of support for water fluoridation from health agencies, health organizations, related to it's part of water fluoridation. Just to kind of get us started on the conversation. But for your review, before we have our formal presentation.
Thanks so much.
And these disciplinary,
Yes, thank you all for having us here today. Again, my name is Naira Vigas. I'm the chair of the Albany Community Review Board. Vice Chair, Dr. Hardin, and our newest member, Antoinette Santos, are here today. So to jump in, we're really pleased to be able to talk about the disciplinary matrix. As you all likely know, why we are doing this work is there's been a big change to our powers with the enactment of Local Law J or Prop 7 of 2021, which allowed the board various additions to our powers, but also required us to work with Chief Hawkins to implement and create a disciplinary matrix. So we have embarked on the journey to do so, and what that looks like and what it offers to us is clear guidelines to officers for when there are issues, when there are instances of misconduct, what the consequences will be for that. Or it also codifies consequences and creates discipline ranges that helps to bring trust and transparency from members of the community to understand what is supposed to happen when there is an incident. As we all know, none of these things happen in a vacuum. Social posts, videos. So in a clear, this is a violation of policy, and this is supposed to be the discipline that occurs. And if there's a disconnect between the two, the community needs to apply that is. And then the third benefit to having a disciplinary matrix is that there's clear expectations, and the hope is to help to discourage that same sort of behavior of officers in the future. So those are our goals, and the way that we are doing this work is we have adopted a process that is collaborative and valuing first and foremost community input. So we have put together a working group or a committee that includes APD, members of OPS, representatives from the police union. We have the president and vice president. We have two community members, area activists and attorney Mark Mitchell, and also we had to replace one of our community members, but now we have Melanie Trimble from NIPU, who's a part of the board, in addition to our board members. And bi-weekly, we started off, just getting, we have a team of consultants, work with our consultants, we work with APT to kind of get our values and understanding the benefits that this police matrices have had in other jurisdictions, getting, insight from APT as to what they're looking for, and really just explain why for us it's very important that we have input in this process. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the members of the community really pushing for Local Law J and really asking for this change. So we developed a survey. We're asking, for public comments during the meetings. Our meetings are live streamed, people can attend in person. And we really want our final product to be accepted by the community, to be accepted by the chief who has the final say. And we're really happy about the way that the process has been going so far. We have an ambitious goal to finish this spring. We don't know if that will happen, but the work is coming along, the group is working well together. And at this point, we have chosen, to kind of, to follow the model that the Baltimore Police Department has chosen. We liked the ranges. We thought it was fair, we thought it was easy to understand, and those are some of our major concerns. So we've got the format down, we have some suggestions for the substance for it from, Martha Short put together a document. And this point from now on, so we really are getting into what in our matrix, what we value as, with some ranges and disciplinary measures. So I'll stop there, like, anyone else jump in or, right, or interesting questions. If you don't have them.
Well, I think we had somebody that just wanted to like to introduce yourself.
Michelle Andre, Program Manager.
So I don't know, Cheryl, Dr. Tony, have anything to add, but that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think they excellent as always. I think, one of the things we're here for is to kind of hear from you and to help us get the word out to not only attend the meeting if possible, but to do the survey. This is really about hearing from the community. So do you have any questions about what you've heard so far from our chair?
I'm curious as to what the timeline looks like, or what is the goal timeline? I know things are always.
I know APD is strongly pushing to have a completed document by April. As we know, that's like 2 weeks from now. It's probably have gotten pretty far, and there's, oh, and I forgot, Bryson's colleague, Matt Toporowski, has also been a part of the committee too. And everyone wearing their different hats to provide from their perspective. Michelle has reached out to a friend she knows in Baltimore to see how it's working on the ground. So we're trying to really think like as much as possible evidence-based approach. I think April is ambitious, but we're hoping some of them have completed community kind of review and approved matrix to handle into the chief.
And just to add to that, that's not our timeline. A part of that timeline came from the reimagining, so they're trying to meet that deadline. Our chair and board and manager have stated that we don't know if that's possible. So even though we're trying to meet that deadline, it's really more important for us that we get the community feedback, so that we have the best finished product at the end that the community agreed upon. That, as our chair stated, she ultimately has the last thing to say so. But we really want to make a strong push for the community to get involved. Even if you don't have to come in person, like even if it's a survey and groups that we may not be thinking that you're connected with, that we should be having this discussion with, or creating opportunities for them to put their input.
I have a question. Is Baltimore the only city that is doing something like this? And if they're not, why did you choose Baltimore?
We had actually the law school, the GLC, Government Law Center that we're under, they have interns. They did a lot of research for us, as well as our consultant, and provided us with some different examples. There's New York City, they have their own robust review for the CPRB. We looked at Denver. There was another Yeah, so it's, yeah. There was another place in Maryland, Rochester is in, there's, I think, is maybe completed, talked to the Rochester board, their analyst that is putting, it together. But most of the matrices have the same, like, components. It's just how Baltimore's was put together, visually very easy to read. We connected also to, the kind of how the penalties were organized and the ranges, but we're still going to make changes based on our city's needs. One of the kind of what APD was looking at, they, for example, New York City's their matrix has very defined. This is the violation. This is the penalty. They do have some mitigating factors and other things like the other matrices, but it's very stringent. APD asked, they do want a level of discretion, and we understand that. We don't want whatever we develop to be so fluid that there isn't the clarity and the understood expectations. But you do want to be able to look at certain things as case by case. It might seem like a small violation of a smaller, maybe there was no brutality or excessive force use, but it could be, I think Matt Toporowski pointed out in our last meeting, there was a recent, discipline where there's conduct coming of an officer that might be a lower level on the scale, but what was said or what was done the chief might want to say, we don't want this person on our force anymore. So want to give the appropriate ranges, mitigating factors, aggravating factors that lead to the overall outcome that works for our police force that is smaller than some of the larger cities. But that's kind of how we landed on Baltimore. But there are a lot of other examples from different municipalities that are doing similar things. So.
The approval by the board is the chief ability to amend matrices before they're adopted, and it's also a possibility for amendment by either council or mayor, or is it given as one final package to the chief or
so the amendment process, revision process isn't very clear. There isn't anything in the law, J, that said that the administration or the common council would have the ability to change. But what we're hoping by bringing everyone to the table together is that there won't be that push by the chief to change something that we've gotten the comments during the process and made space for everyone. That's why it's really important to bring unions in, so that we're asking the questions, doing the research to say in the communities that have done this, what worked, what didn't work, so that our final deliverable is, better in that way. And hopefully there are changes, because really, in the legislation, how that would work if there were changes. My thoughts would be that if the chief did have changes, we hope that we could still have that collaborative process to say, what is it that we did right? Because we put a lot of work and time into this, everyone, got the voices heard. This. So, hoping that we can all stick to what we do. But there is, a review annually that is that we, have an iterative process that needs to be reassessed. Is this working? Changes. So that's the one piece that is clear from the legislation.
Which report about just where and what time, so folks know like.
So we meet bi-weekly on Wednesdays. Physically, we are at Albany Law School in school in West.
Yeah, we're changing actually. I bought some flyers. I put them.
Okay. Yeah,
that'd be great.
move around, but in person, we are at the law school. We've been meeting in room West. We have had a couple of members of the community come, but we're also live streaming the meetings and making them available here. But to build the rules.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the key.
Oh, good, thank you so much. I just think it's, you know, I think it's great work you guys are doing. Out there, yeah, we're gonna pass, yeah, it's like, what do we do? Just. I'm just sticking on that, I'll keep asking and bringing it up, just so. we can, see that too. Is this, so, my next question would be. Right, is there, after sending in this report, is there? Do you see this, even though there's sort of a outline in Baltimore, you said, here, what I would say, what elements you want to change from that? Or add on to it, or what next steps, like, again, like I said, this is such, just tremendous work and great work that's going on, I wanna see this like. Go further to like, okay, always on, when there is a disciplinary situation that happens, are like, not like this is a recommendation, but, well, you guys. But this is how we want to be involved in that actual plan that's going on too, as well. So where is there sort of like a vision of what next steps or where you want to take this?
Before I answer, I just want to say we are joined by our secretary of our board, Batman. And I'll open up the question to everybody that's involved, but I'll say, next steps for me, what I would love to see is to be able to, better track, better report, discipline, instances of discipline and all of the use that for like evidence-based analysis, for, you know, changes to policies and things like that. I'm just like kind of that sort of thing, like, you know, we're not just talking anecdotes, but we have real evidence like this. This, years, you know, more training. Sure. We did it, like I said, it was bad, we need to change the nature, so they're not, it's gonna be fixed, not what we're going to maybe to look at something else and continue to have it. So I think of it as an opportunity to gain more information and better inform our practices. I'll open it up to you.
And I just want to add, so we're wrapping up our case management system. I think that's going to be a big part of that. It's going to start tracking really allegations and complaints and looking, there's trends, there's some information as well that we're hoping to also add more to our reports, even as far as like location. So that's something that I'm working with them, trying to find a way to kind of like customize it based on our words. You know, our words location is pretty unique. So I'm trying to work where you can see if there's, you know, for us to track data to see if certain incidents are occurring in certain locations. So we have made some changes to our complaint form that's going to go live online to really track that information, like where the incidents are occurring in those things. So we really want to be more data driven and transparent. So, you know, employ the case management system that's completely customizable. So that's something I've been working on in the background. And it's something too where what I want to do with the case management system is allow complainants to be able to track where the complaint is in the process. So they don't necessarily have to call, they can still do that, but they can see where it is in the process, if it's where OPS or, you know, the board is investigating it, where it's at, it's being monitored.
And definitely, I think, as you said, they really need to be more data driven. You know, to look at things through a historical lens, even take, you know, bold disciplinary outcomes, and hopefully the matrix, or to see some consistency in outcomes in disciplinary rules will help officers knowing what to expect. And it also help, you know, people in the community to understand what to expect on the other side. So hopefully we'll get some type of consistency, help with clarity.
By providing all those, the facets that everyone has said, eventually maybe we can get the community and so that we're all one. That the community is not afraid to take the phone call because they need a help or something. Yeah, also it's, we have a little consistency the community's not nervous about service being serviced by EPD and APD is also not nervous about serving the community. Because everybody, is all on that same page.
I think Tony, you make a great point, because that's the ultimate goal, whatever we can do to, on top of looking at complaints and, like I said, all of our expanded powers. Our ultimate goal is that we really want to rebuild the road and trust, so we know that is a long road, it's something that was, over time, so we need to take steps to build it up. The more knowledge we give to members of the community about what they should expect from encounters with the police, and the more guidance we give to APD to say, this is what's really happening, this is, or to the community, this is not what's happening, there's must be something for this, and this is not an outcome, the more, just objectivity. Say there is oversight that's looking at this, when something goes wrong, they are following the model that is set forth in the chains of discipline. We are problem officers, we able to problem officers, and we're creating more spaces for community to come together so that there's understanding, trust. That's the ultimate goal. Hopefully, we can have less complaints and more accountability, transparency, trust.
Any other questions?
Did everyone here fill out the survey?
It's a first step.
Good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
The QR code will take you right to where to fill it out, pretty short. But I just want to add, as far as like community trust, Vanilla and I have been working on the mediation aspect, promoting that program. So we created a separate section on our website just to promote that program. Just really showing the process, it's confidential. So that's something that we've been, when we receive certain complaints, we added a section in our complaint form that we're open to mediation. So we know that ahead of time, and if they are, you can see it, yes, it's, open to an officer and really have that conversation. So that's something that we're really working on. Promoting that.
And that's the good thing about the mediation program that Dr. B and Michelle are working on is that that's a move outside of this. So this is not a punitive. This is an ability for someone who feels like they're wrong, and the target officer to sit down and just talk.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that is not part of the officer's discipline record, and that goes directly to trust. So one-on-one conversation with a mediator to say, this perspective. So we got the ability to do that while we haven't realized. I think that's the case for many oversight bodies and jurisdictions. But we really want to promote, if there's a chance to talk out, understand, and build that up and promote that. So it kind of goes hand in hand. One, sometimes you have to go the punitive route. When you do, it's clear, it's easy to understand when there's an option to not do that. We offer the opportunity to talk with the leaders. So I'm trying to give a robust, choices to people to solve problems and build that trust.
And in the Arbor Hill, West Hill area, I know for a long time there, they had cops walking the beat. They had cops riding horses. But very few Black cops that would be in that area where the neighborhood actually thought that sending a young white cop who would be opt more to want to pull his gun out or hit somebody with a stick because he's young and he hasn't had that much training, and the fear of facing a group of Black people. So are they thinking about having more cops walking the beat? I know that there's cops walking the beat on Central Ave, Lexington. We did some walks with them. But to kind of mix it up so that the cop is not afraid because of all this stuff that's happening out here. They don't have that fear of like, it's just me, this young white person, and I'm facing 6 Black people, and they don't know, they might have in their mind some concept of what may happen, or maybe nothing will happen. But to kind of mix it up so people can get to understand the police a little bit more, and the police can get to understand them, maybe having a Black cop and a white cop. Even the kids going to school, they don't want to be bothered with cops because of the past things that happened. So to kind of like mix it up so somebody can start a conversation. When I went to school, which was 50 years ago, the cops, hey, how you doing today? You're on your way to school, have a nice day. To teach the cop that the kids need them too, and they need to be secure with the cops that's out there. Just say hi, but some of them, they just walk right past. I know even now, I'll see a cop, and I work for Department of Criminal Justice, I retired from there, and I always say hi. But some of them, they just walk right past you. They don't say nothing. And part of building a community is having that relationship of being nice. So,
I just wanted to say that too, it does feel, as a community, if somebody who's raised this community, it does feel pretty intimidating or just pretty, you can see in some, and I don't know if this is part of what the project is or whatnot, but to kind of go over that, it does kind of, it's very off-putting to see, like, especially when it's one of the Black and brown event, to see or white younger cops or older cops don't even live in the community, aren't connected in the community. That's sort of like going off of the ideals of like anti-racism, where you have white police officers in communities where they don't have any type of social, familial, or professional connection to, and they're supposed to watch over or connect with them. And there is a disconnect. There's a disconnect from the community crowds going, well, how am I supposed to trust this person? How am I supposed to, go to this person if I think we help them? This person doesn't know me, and vice versa from the police officer side, like, I'm just here to do a job. And I don't want to say that that's for every white police officer in the city, but the sort of shadow of that is too dark and moving to not bring up to, and and I think with just the work that people are doing, it's so important. I think it's a step that's going into that sort of realm of like how the police in neighborhoods, how the police in neighborhoods that aren't connected to us, we are, how do we as a community sort of, and I think you all are doing that work, sort of create an atmosphere to just be home as well.
I think I just want to back up how right. A large part of what we do is stuff like that. Just to examine how these things are happening at their time. I encourage you all, and I ask if you guys could come to some of our meetings, either in person or virtual, show the streams live. Because a lot of those questions are, listen, you guys complaining, how is this supposed to happen? What was supposed to happen in this situation? What went wrong? Or did it go wrong? Whatever the case may be. But that's literally like the topic of the essence of how we police. We do that. And it just helps when there's more people, more eyes, we want this to be a transparent process. So the more you guys are aware of the meetings, how we handle certain situations, the conversations, and even, expand on that and tell that to your various networks, that helps everything because we're trying to bring it into the light. You know what I mean? So any help you guys can do as far as protecting the shore, all that good stuff.
I was gonna say, this is something that we can probably touch on in our training student recruits, right? Provided. So one of the things that we started doing is the last session for 9, we're gonna do it again this session, provide an overview of oversight and also about the board, what they look like, and our background as far as like professional. And then, I think we also touch on mediation aspect, but one of the things that, you know, yes, I brought up was like, for us to start this relationship at the beginning of their career, as opposed to, you know, showing up when something has, you know, occurred, so they kind of understand, like, here's what the board is, not the scary board that's looking out, you know, to get to, but they are, and really have that relationship, but I think having tip of like, what we think of community policing and how we want to see it show up, right? And then especially for us, we get a lot of like complaints on call handling, a lot of times, or interactions where somebody's being stopped and oftentimes the person didn't appreciate how they were talked to. So I think really just having that conversation, you're starting out your career, here's what, you know, this community is looking for, and this is what they're thinking of.
Yeah, because they talk a certain way, so they don't show the fear. And it's, first of all, it's not respectful, because if you talk kind to people, Jasmine and I just had this conversation. If you talk kind to people, you start out talking kind to people, you're only gonna get it two ways. They're gonna be kind to you, or they're gonna be negative towards you. And if you want people to react to you in a certain way, then you should be reacting to that person in a certain way. But I just believe that there's a lot of young cops, and they're afraid. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants to go home. So they're out here and they're fighting for their life, just like mothers are fighting for their son's life, and they want their son to get out there and fight for their life, so everybody can get home safely. But Albany, it did not have this problem back then. We knew every police officer practically on the Albany police force. They did not walk past you without saying, hi, hey, how you doing? Your parents knew every police officer, white, black, or indifferent. None of them were afraid, because they weren't violent, they weren't mean. Now, don't get me wrong, because there are police officers that are battlers in their own home, but you won't know, I won't know, until something happens, right? And that's when you're gonna find out. So there are police officers that have anger issues, you know? So if you're nasty at home, and you got a nasty disposition, you're gonna react it to everybody that you come in contact with. So how do you stop it? You know?
Well, so one of the things, that's very, is that, this board is really good questions to understand the education and knowledge goes both ways. So you've heard Michelle talk about what we've been doing. And Batman encouraging everyone to come to our meetings. But then there are other avenues to go through as well. And one of our most recent collaborations with the village, the CHAIR Act that came and talked about. So that board is an advisory to the police. So while we are listening and taking that information in, that's very important, and how we're able to educate on some of the concerns, not just to the community, but police. I think it's also equally important that you and other community members, where police actually show up to those meetings, that are present, where you can talk to them more one-on-one, because it's just different the way that that's set up, but it's community members that are advising the police and the chief attends. So I would encourage you and others alike to understand what they're doing, the messaging that's out there, and the concerns that you're having in your neighborhood that you are voicing here. I think also land there, so that the chief and his officer are gaining understanding about where you're coming from there, because we're not coming from a place where we believe all police officers are bad either. We understand that this board was created because not all officers are always doing the right thing, but we're not being critical of all officers. We want to mitigate and eliminate officers from doing things to any community member. We just happen to know that disparities in Black and brown communities are far greater. And what we know is Black, being a police officer is not a profession that many brown communities are going into. While there are, we do see that there are men, women, and others alike joining the profession, that there needs to be more knowledge and understanding why they should, and knowledge and understanding, which we're promoting for individuals who come out of college, like you said, never lived in our communities where culture is different, to have that understanding to dispel fear both ways. So I just wanted to add that.
That kind of to your point about getting out and seeing, doing stuff like that, and with that, he says, when it comes to those things, the chair back up, chair.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so chair said that, he had that conversation with chief, said, hey, listen, officers should get out of their cars, blah, blah, blah. So they made a thing where it's like, you have to get out for at least 15 minutes. It's like, hey, that's good, that those getting out of their cars, mingling, shaking hands, kiss babies, all that good stuff, that's great. At the same time, if they have an 18-hour shift, 15 minutes kind of pales in comparison, right? So although it's a step in the right direction, 100%, they need to still hear more on a consistent basis of, hey, listen, let's keep going with that. Let's make sure we don't just stop there and call it a day. And it's kind of the same thing with a lot of that stuff that we do. The more we can be vocal and say, hey, listen, that's good. We're heading in the right direction. Let's keep going. The more likely we are to get those outcomes.
I'll just add, I agree with what everybody said, and I can't speak on behalf of the police, but from some conversations that their goal is to more community, their goal is to bring in more diversity. I think that here people asking for officers to be from, so everybody's saying the same thing. But what you touched on that culture of this fear, like I said, things don't happen in that. So we heard officers say, like, the worst of the people, like it's reporters in the newspaper. I had a situation at the training jet Citizens Police Academy where an officer, this wasn't a person. Black people don't care about themselves, it's coming from a position of power. And whenever we are, like, that's not gonna fly. Police misconduct doesn't occur because police of color have something that is wrong with them that don't deserve respect, that should be fearful of. So we work to dispel those notions that are wrong, and to also always say that the culture and the understanding of the system, that is what understood. So we want to do, in addition to all things I've talked about, utilize our meetings in a different way, share to bring kind of different experts to talk about different things. And this is one of the things that I feel passionate about talking about, because there has been so much that's out there in this kind of this push that like there was so violent, we want this, we want that, we don't have to act like that. That is not the standard, that is not okay, it's never gonna be okay. And the other piece for me, I think I was reviewing a case and I said, when I was a cashier at Whole Foods in Philadelphia, I had a standard of customer service that I had to customers that was higher in the case that I was reviewing than the officers made to the person. And so I don't think that cases get measured whether there was violence or whether somebody was shot. I take very personal when I see I'm reviewing a video and I see an officer talking super disrespectful to a person, because I believe exactly what you said. That's the core. Like, if you can't talk to me, you can't interact with me, then I don't have any respect for you. I don't trust that you are protecting and serving as you're supposed to say. So that's, and what I want to be behind as chair. I just want to come to that understanding, so we all come from this same baseline. Black and brown community in this city our Hill, West End, or our Hill, West End, Hill, South End, they deserve respect. There's not this tier standard of, the level of service and protection that they should get. So at every opportunity, like shout it from the rooftops, like, not today, not gonna talk to us like that, not, and that's where my passion to do this work comes from. And I believe, I believe that, like, when Michelle was talking about talking to the recruits, we just kind of level to them, why do you do what you do? And all of them said, it was a small class, but all of them said, I really want to help people. And we connected and we said, that's why we're on the board. We don't have opposing interests. We all want the same thing. Please understand, please look to us, as partners. Please look to us as someone who can reach out to and say, I need help, like on the actual officer level, so you understand what our community is looking for. If you're not somebody that comes from here, you don't understand, it can be a different perspective. So I'm just hoping that that's when we talk about building trust, that's where it's like getting accurate knowledge and understanding, support to those who do well, whatever we can do. I would love to, but make it really clear.
I just want to be all about that. But if more than welcome, once we're finished, go ahead, like to stay or something like to stay. Folks have no questions or like to express anything else. Definitely appreciate it, sure. But I'd like just for the sake of time, I'd like us to any other new business. I know last week or the week before, last meeting, we talked about bringing two per person. Did anybody want to share the nominees?
Can we just email that maybe to guys, put out an email just for the sake of, like, easier.
Sure. Any other new business that?
So with respect to next month's meeting, I sent everyone an email asking what we schedule or postpone until the following month. I'll be away out of town at work conference, but I am looking to have Commissioner Well and Dr. Well back for one coordination discussion. I've invited Capitalize Albany, Hudson Valley as well, to discuss the Lincoln Power project of the housing authority. To give you all some more background about that. So that's something on it right now. I'm hoping to have a presentation for the services department of the specialists.
Sure. So but this would be for the meeting. Okay. Sure. So did it be want to vote for next month? And
We would have to select a date. I would even be good if you just did a virtual meeting, people can't meet in person. More so because we need to nail down specifics for. I know I'll be looking this week to see if we can find a venue. But what we did say, well, now that we have a date nailed down, we can see the date out there is because we were that one.
yeah, we're gonna be. It's gonna be. What things myself, yes.
Okay, so we're yes.
Right, great. So how about the 7th of April?
That's right.
Sorry, the 6th. Sorry, I saw that and I said it's sitting up in my head. I said the 6th, and then it came out. So I think the 6th is both Holy Thursday and also.
Oh.
That's what we're posting.
13.
But that's, yeah.
The 13th, that would be the second.
Yeah.
That worked for most people. No weddings.
Love.
So that's gonna be done by Zoom.
Yes.
Or no, that'll be in person.
Okay.
So just to reiterate, the 13th of, we're moving the meeting to the 13th of April, and that will be in person.
That's the second week.
Right. And if you can, I know this is, we're moving it and just schedules and whatnot. Kind of keep that on as much as we can, to just get our ducks in a row for the
Quick update, so this morning I attended with Batman, actually, the Serve Albany breakfast, which was pretty interesting. We heard from the mayor, the chief, and a representative from Albany City School District. Ironically, they did address some of the things that you were talking about with regard to community policing. Of what the chief said is a very large lot of bodies, which is one of the things that he said is a challenge right now is getting police, especially from applicants from Albany to actually want to enroll. I also brought up questions about the LEAD program. And I still have questions about the LEAD program because I thought that one of the reasons that was put out there was to address disparities between Black and brown arrests and white arrests. And some of the panelists said that that wasn't the point of it. So I don't know, I'm gonna come back.
Yeah,
It's like,
I've been part of the program since its inception. I actually spoke at a press conference. Racial disparities was absolutely the program to try to address that in a way. I have no idea how that is not without other conversations.
but there's serve lunches every month. They usually have a really good topic, and there's a lot of people in the room from various nonprofits. So I was able to make it this week. I don't know if anybody will be able to make it next month, but I think it's great to get one of our members to go on our
Housing focus.
Oh, that's housing focus. So that it's the third Thursday through Albany, or sometimes they might take the farm.
Michelle, our program manager, also was informed us that Lee is presenting at our next meeting. So I heard you say that that's a question, that would be whether it's in person or online. I think not only learn more if you didn't hear enough, but to be able to ask some of the questions that you may have.
That's April 13th. That's.
Okay. April 13th, 6 o'clock.
Oh.
Sorry.
You guys can do the station.
That's what we just decided on. I mean,
Oh,
we can talk offline.
Well, that's the serve.
no, that's.
No, this is-
That's our regular.
Oh, Thursday.
Okay.
There's an all opportunity. It's not nothing, it's a kind of unique opportunity where the CPRB will be presenting our stuff. And then also the LEAD programs. It's kind of an opportunity to catch up with two programs at once. They're not all able to. So I don't know if there's anyone who's able to work on that.
Well, yeah, we'll send them emails. And so it's April 5th.
That's the disciplinary.
Our regular.
Okay.
God is doing all this work.
I was also, you also that your, maybe one of your next meetings is going to have a neighborhood specialist person. We had at our community outreach event, a lot of questions about what this new position is. I had seen the presentation, I was trying to do my best to explain it, but maybe we could share, since it was a lot of people out, maybe we could share your meeting, so people can tune in. Because I think people don't really know what that is, would be helpful.
I'd love to make a motion to consider the program. Second. Sorry, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the date of our April meeting.
Oh, yes.
Second.
So your meeting is April the 13th?
Yes.
Yeah, we need
The second Thursday.
at a law school member in
That's
West Side 12 right now,
well, I mean,
but also you can join.
I don't, virtually just.
And what time is that meeting? Six.
Their site, does the site really matter?
If you come in person, it's also signs.
Okay.
We'll figure that out.
Um,
If not, I mean, I would suggest the 27th then. What's the third week? It's kind of rough, right?
wait,
The only thing that's happening that we think is the one percent. But otherwise.
well, yeah, let's say, so, yeah, that's fine. We'll make a motion for the changing to the 27th, April 27th.
I'll make the motion about like, yeah. Don't let go. Tuesdays were up around here, where are Wednesdays? I know typically we make Thursdays, but if you want, I know Aaron, you're looking to have it earlier in the month. Is anybody available, say like on the fifth?
Yeah,
I'm available.
So yeah. You're not, all right. How about the 12th? No, I can't. That's the week that we're all.
how about the 11th?
That works for me. The Tuesday.
That works for me.
Okay,
So,
right,
right. Looks like we have a majority for the 11th, so I move to, well, put that meeting to the 11th of April. That's second.
all right, so for the 11th, we'll be here for adjusted. Okay, any other new business that you wanted to discuss?
We don't have any public comment.
No public comments. Okay, motion, for adjournment.
So, second.
All right. Well,
Thank you for having me.
Here, great work.